everyone. Today we're here at Tilt Studios in Tempe, Arizona, and I've got Keith Orchard with me today. And
what's going on, guys?
We're going to go through just a quick overview of the Star Wars Pinball and maybe a little play tutorial. What do you say?
Let's do it.
All right, so Keith here at Tilt is the pinball aficionado.
Like to think so.
Yeah, he does the maintenance and care of the pinballs, and we were all just really thrilled to get this Star Wars in here. Can you tell me a little bit about the machine itself?
Yeah, it's pretty cool. You want me to? Yeah, this is pretty cool. It's Steve Ritchie's latest design. I guess he's been working on this one for it's before Game of Thrones. If you guys out there are pretty familiar with Star Wars and pinball, you know, there's been some hits and there's been some duds between Daddy East and this. So really cool about this. Can't say enough. The game design, I know a lot of people weren't happy with the graphics. You didn't get a Zombie Yeti or anything like that. So you know, design-wise, it's pretty much just pictures and poster art takeoffs. You know, you got four main characters. You're playing Han Solo, Leia, R2-D2, and Luke. And then, you know, with this game like Stern, you're going to get three different versions. You're going to have your Pro, which is what we got. With Stern, for Star Wars, what they did was pretty cool. They made a good guy, bad guy combo. So each package, the artwork's going to be different. So the next step up from this is going to be the Premium.
Premium, yeah. So this is the Pro.
Yeah, this is the Pro, and what's going to change with that is the side package right here. You can kind of see it's the good guys, and then we got half and half with the light and the dark side of the Force.
Oh, I see. So this is dark side.
Yeah,
light side.
and so what they did for the Premium, it's going to be the dark side of the Force. So you're going to see the backboard's all going to be you know, Darth Vader, the Emperor, and all evil guys, and then the side art's going to be AT walkers and that. And then what they did for the highest limited edition is they went ahead and they went with the good side of the Force. So you're going to see, you know, the graphic package on the body reflect that, and then the translite for that's going to be the Millennium Falcon hyperspace. Two things that do make the limited edition and the Premium different are going to be the addition of a hyperspace ramp that's going to drop the ball right here in front of the flippers, and then kind of a cool gimmick is they made this Death Star. It actually explodes on the Premium and the limited edition. So, you know, if you think those are $2,000 worth cool, then, you know, all for it. But, you know, we're just happy to have the game here and play it.
Would it make sense for somebody to collect all three? I mean, if you were so inclined.
Yeah, if you have that kind of income, by all means, you know,
yeah, just because you'd have a full set of the artwork all the way through.
If you're a true collector, I mean, it wouldn't be fair not having the whole set.
But essentially, the gameplay is the same from machine to machine.
Yeah, you're going to see the gameplay be the same, you know, again, with the exclusion of that hyper ramp's going to loop around. So that's going to give me the only difference. So it's not going to be like Aerosmith or Game of Thrones where they added an additional level and playfield on it. So the Pro is going to be really similar to the other ones. Yeah, you know, we've got, this is going to be the third game from Stern, where it's going to have the color screen on it. So, you know, you got Batman kicked it off, and then Aerosmith, and now this one.
This screen looks a little larger than Batman, or is it the same size? Am I just...
You know, this may be a little bit more letterbox-ish. I didn't break out the measuring tape, but now
sure.
Yeah, I can.
Yeah, the way it's presented there, it looks larger to me.
I can kind of see that, but
plus you have the really cool little like scanner screen.
Yeah.
There.
There's the on-screen display, which is pretty unique because it interacts with the multiplier value and then the gameplay and the TIE Fighter. Fighting mode. We'll probably get into that a little bit later when we go through gameplay and all.
Yeah, another interesting feature I thought was cool is this little this break up here as you're going into the Death Star. This little poles that just pop up and stop the ball. They're able to go up and catch it right there.
Good trap, yeah. I mean, I think that's probably what they had in mind for the hyperspace ramp. But you know, getting back to this thing, man, if you're a fan of was it Space Invaders or Silver Ball Mania or Fishtails, where you
Sure,
have that,
yeah.
that horseshoe alternating. Steve Ritchie was able to make that happen with that. So king of flow, and this game has a lot of flow, lot of flow.
Well, the other visually interesting thing is the, I don't know if I can get this with the camera. In the back, behind the play field, there's a plexiglass with artwork with a battle cruiser and everything on it. Almost looks like that could be another monitor back behind there. I think that'd be cool, but it get broken being hit by the pinball.
Yeah. I mean, it's probably the most open back plate I've seen in a while. But yeah, it's got the Return of the Jedi Death Star finish mode where it's battle royale. So it's really bright colors on everything. And I know a lot of the Pinsiders were hating on this when they released it, and it didn't look too much different from the Sega Star Wars trilogy, but
Sure.
I'm sold on it.
Well, with all the good visual stuff here, one thing I like about it is it looks very serviceable. You can reach everything with a rag if you're, almost everything with a rag if you're cleaning and polishing the play field. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, there's limited gimmicks on this, but there's so much of this game is in the coding as opposed to the playfield. So I really gave them the best option to use more options of the coding with the way the playfield's set up.
Have you actually looked inside the back box yet?
I haven't. You want to pop it open? Take a look?
Let's pop it open and take a look. I think we have the keys here. It's going to be one of these.
No, this is going to be the 95. This is going to be a different one. So if you guys aren't too familiar with the newer Stern games, or you still have an old Williams games, this is probably going to be a little bit too much for you, but they went ahead and have reduced everything down to just one board, and as you can see, that's really it. Really serviceable. For example, this code had to be updated, but before we even launched it, we were able to just take a USB flash drive, go on the Stern website, download it on the flash drive, and then just plug it in here. It take care of a reset issue that was happening. So it's just one board. That's the main processing unit for you other guys that are familiar with it. There's no driver board anymore. They went ahead and they broke that out, and that's going to be all on the playfield on node boards.
Yeah, that's those little driver nodes that are on the bottom, and you notice it's we've got these bright.
Yeah.
I'm going to turn this off so we can
kind of see it.
Actually see what's going on here. That's your backglass lighting. Those LEDs, and they are hot. I mean, they produce some temperature. They burn so brightly. But you've got a couple of network cables. There's an extra Ethernet port there. There's your USB here, and is this the USB you plugged into? Right here.
It's gonna be right here.
Here, yeah, I'll give a
like a
close up.
diagnostic, almost like a cat, whatever. But yeah, there's two USB things. So when you're doing your updates, you usually have two options. You can do a quick update, or you can do a full update. It's just a matter of whether you're sitting there and waiting for a minute for the game to update, or you're waiting there for 5. I personally like to update everything all together at once instead of pieces. So, what's a couple minutes for Star Wars?
Yeah. Does it look? Is there a flash drive on there, or are they using?
What they're actually using is going to be a SD card right here,
SD card.
and so it's just your standard 16 gig SD card, and so you
got some selectable dip switches.
Yeah.
This here, that must be the processor. You got the heat sink. Actually, that's pretty darn cool. It's been running all day.
Yeah, I think that's actually cooler than the LEDs.
Yeah, and it's there's no fan on it, and that's your microprocessor. It's got an edge connector Looks like it screws in and plugs in place. Some capacitors on the board. That is really slick. Power input.
Again, like so streamlined.
Yeah.
If you guys haven't powered up a newer Stern game, we save you some time from looking like an idiot. But they moved the power switch up below the head up here, so you're not going to find that anymore in the lower cabinet. That being said, you're also not going to find an additional AC outlet in it. So, I guess don't do any soldering.
We've got our power supply board, and then here's a power distribution board, which is really just, there's some filter caps and some Molex connectors to run the power to the different boards around the game. The display itself, it looks like the display board is underneath this metal shielding here. Yeah, you can kind of see that on the camera.
LCD.
And it's a widescreen LCD. Very nice, very slick. These little speakers here put out a lot of sound, and there's a bigger speaker.
Yeah, there's a woofer.
Because there's good bass and good sound in this machine. And you notice the back itself, this is metal. And you've got some air vent holes here, which you would expect on a pinball, but it's nothing like the old Williams machines.
Yeah, gone are the days of I don't know how many GIs back here in the floor. So it's really been streamlined, and feel like you're missing a lot if you're one of those old William guys.
Mm-hmm. Well, you want to pop up the playfield?
Yeah, let me hand this up. Let's put a rag in here so we don't send pinballs everywhere.
Yeah. Voila. Okay, so we have the playfield up, and let's see what we can see here. First of all, it's pretty clean. It's connectors you wouldn't normally expect on an older pinball. You've got networking cables, and
a lot of the GI's gone from the 44, 47 bulbs to these LEDs, so they're able to do different colors. So I would say that's one thing that sticks out at me the most. There's not really...
You don't have the plug-in bulbs. They're actually soldered onto a board.
So that's different. There's still the standard bulbs for the GI. Getting back to, we were talking about the head, how there's no board, power driver board, because they broke it off into these, they're called nodes is what Stern refers to them. I'm sure somebody out there probably knows what that exactly stands for. But you're able to swap them for serviceability in between. So I guess if you're used to dealing with the power distribution board issue, instead of like having to send it off somewhere, you can just easily swap it with another one on the board and see if the problem follows. So that's really slick for troubleshooting. This one, we got the force drop targets going on.
Yeah, I was just looking at that. Are those standard plates?
Yeah, standard. I'm not seeing anything. It's the same way they've been doing it for years. Everything's good, and looks like they're pretty good with connectors on a lot of these boards. So you're not having to do a lot of soldering and desoldering and resoldering on items. Big display board here. Pretty much the standard. What Stern's been doing for a while. You're not going to see the 3 terminal post flippers. You're going to see the 2. And
now, interesting thing here. It looks like our little display in the middle of the playfield.
Yeah.
It's using networking cables.
Okay.
To feed
I
it.
saw the HDMI out.
Well, there's an HDMI, and then there's 2 network cables. I'd be curious to see. Is that HDMI?
Saw one going out that could have been going to the center display, I imagine.
Okay. Interesting. And then I need a flashlight to see what these transistors are in here. I can almost make it out. MBR 780. That's that one. I don't know. Yeah, it's a part number I'm not familiar with. They're not the old tip 122s. So very cool. Very cool.
You know, Stern was nice enough. I know it seemed like they're real consistent on it. I know Ghostbusters, they were good, and Game of Thrones, but you know, they threw in some spare plastics with this. So
yeah.
you're gonna have your slingshot plastics, your lane guide plastics, and then I don't know. I guess these are keychains. Keychain stuff for people are just extra print, but you know, you got your card. So they're really good about throwing that in. So that's convenience. You have something break, you're able to replace it, because I doubt anybody's going to be making plastic replacements for this for a while. But it is a fast game, so I wouldn't be surprised at some point we're replacing the plastic with the speed of this.
What are these flipper solenoids? Are 221080s. Yeah. Oh, it's cool. They give you the ohms, 4.55 ohms. I guess if you're ohming it out. The other thing I noticed is it looks like they put a layer of shellac on the bottom of the play field.
Right.
So it's got kind of that shiny texture, as opposed to, you know, older pins, you don't do nothing to the bottom.
I wonder if that's something to do with maybe, hopefully it helps flexing when it changes temperatures between, you know, different environments from whatever they made it on the floor room.
There's some solder they spilled from whatever. So they must have had this on a table upside down where they were just connecting parts.
Very cool.
Yeah, very cool. Should we do some gameplay and
let's do
check
some
out
gameplay. I know there's a lot going on with this game with the skill shot and just getting it set up.
Okay.
So let's put the play field down and kind of get into the how you start the game for the most points.
All right, stay tuned. All right. So here's our play field here. A lot of lights, very pretty.
Sorry.
Turn the sound down. All right, so I'm going to let Keith take over on the explanation of some of the game strategies. You know, it's a very deep game. There's a lot of different features, a lot of things going on. So here you go, Keith.
All right, guys, bear with me here. I've just been playing this and watching some tutorials of my own, so gonna give kind of just a layman's terms. But with this game, you're gonna have the ability to play 4 players: Han, Leia, R2-D2, and Luke, and each one's gonna kind of have their own benefit, advantages to the game, what they're gonna do. So things on the play field are going to be Hoth, Death Star.
There's got to be something you can do.
Some really awesome call-outs on this too. I can't hear him. So we got Hoth, Death Star, Tatooine, and Battle of Endor. So you're going to have your Tatooine shot over here, Tatooine. You're going to have your Hoth shot. You're going to have your Endor, and then you're going to have your Death Star. So those are going to be your planets. I'm trying to figure out which way to start with this. So we'll just go ahead and press start on the game, and it'll locate the pinballs. But anyways, as you start this game, you're going to choose which character you want to be. And as I said, each one has its own advantages. And what you're going to find out is that certain characters will already have these modes completed. For example, R2-D2 on Death Star will have 1 and 2 completed. So if you make one Death Star shot, then you're already in the Death Star wizard mode. And you also have the capability of stacking modes on top of each other. So that's pretty cool. Here we go. So we got Luke. And you can see he's strong with the Force. So you have 4 shots that you can do. That's Jedi training for each of these. Those will also be TIE fighters. This will be a TIE fighter, and then there's a TIE fighter here. We'll get back into that a little bit later. But with this, we have a center action button and a left and a right. So with the right button, we're able to choose the path we want to do. But also what's kind of slick that we're able to do with this is you're able to rotate your shot multipliers through the playfield. So you can actually control your skill shot where you want to send it. So that's a pretty unique feature that I can't think of on other games yet. But you can kind of see how the 3X's, as I'm changing or moving, once I actually select a character, you know, I won't have to deal with that. But you can do that, and then you can alternate the bonuses with the right flipper. You kind of do that. So R2-D2 is going to be the one that's going to give you the most points. He's clever with multipliers, so that's going to be your safest bet. Princess Leia, she's strong with missions, so if you want to try and complete Death Star and/or Hoth and things like that, she might be a little bit better bet for you. You can see right off the bat, if you hit one into Tatooine, you're going to go ahead and complete that with Princess Leia. Solo, you know, 1 with Endor. So these are easy power-ups. Instead of having to go through 1, 2, and 3 to get the wizard mode, you select these, and for example, I changed the skill shot that I wanted to do for them. I can make it Endor, so in one shot and launching, I will, if I hit that, I will light up 3, and then that'll put me in Endor mode, and I can start a wizard mode almost right off the bat, which is going to be some good scoring points. So let's go ahead and go back to R2-D2, and we will go ahead and set him up for the Death Star, because he's got he just has one that he has to complete for that. So I'll go ahead and do him. I went ahead and launched it. I'll go ahead and let this go through for point's sakes, but you can auto launch, and it'll hit that. And you're trying to get TIE fighters, but that'll ultimately determine the multiplier right off the bat. You know, you can still do the typical rollovers above the pop-uppers. There's that one way. See what we got here. It looks like it wants me to hit this. So let's see what that is. Shoot the left lamp. So now I got the hyperspace hurry up. You see that was that cool horseshoe. So now I'm chasing this flashing one. Yeah, 3-way combo going. So now I got 2 purples. Try that again. Three. Well, let's go for this 4th purple one. All right, and the Death Star. And we're still going. Tim may have to do some editing. Oh, so there, Death Star's all lit up because I hit all the purple ones. So, now R2-D2, I have to select one mission because it's got all those passed, so I'm just going to rescue the princess. This will be 4 hurry-up shots. So pretty much aim for the purple arrows. Got 1.
There isn't any other way out.
2. And you're on a hurry up for this, so they don't stay lit. You have a time you're trying to beat. So I believe that should. Sorry, aim's a little bit off here. And I missed the last hurry up, but you can see there's some different color GI going on this. But now you can do the multiplier select because you're locked in your character, so you can change the X's to where you want. You can change the multiplier now, and then you're gonna do this. Give me a minute. I'm gonna see if we can get in TIE Fighter mode, and I'll show you how that works. So right now I'm trying to hit the TIE Fighter. There's TIE Fighters. TIE Fighter mode, to start off, you can see it's a countdown. I want to hit that. Hit this. Yeah, he's kind of cool, flies around. But what I want to do there, I'm not sure if you saw the TIE fighter showing up, but there's this action button that's in the center here. And when you have those lit up, you want to press this rapidly, and that's how you destroy those TIE fighters. And once you destroy, I think it's 35, maybe it's 45 TIE fighters. So if you can get a cradle situation, one of the flippers with the ball, and sit here and pound it out before it counts out, you'll enter a multi-ball. So that's pretty cool feature. So they're able to interact with that. I'm not really sure if that's the video mode yet. I haven't really found the video mode, but I'm still a young Padawan at this game. So let's see some other features. Okay, there's the force drop targets, and what those are going to impact is your mystery, your bonus multiplier, and then your save resets. They're going to come into play with that. I know it does 5 things off the top of my head, but again, I'm new, so bear with me on this game. I guess while we're speaking of numbers, there's over 20 different initials to enter in your game between different planets and whatnot, champions. So, you know, it's a pretty fun game to put your name up on. I'm gonna see if I can go into the instant info here. This is probably the craziest instant info menu I've ever seen. So let's just see if we can get that up here and I can navigate it. To light extra ball, you know, strong with the force. Again, you know, I'm not playing these characters, but it's letting you know what each one does, so this is pretty cool. So you can see each hero's, it's already got its pre-planned mission of what's already completed and what's not when you start out. I imagine you can keep track of it from player to player if you're in a 4-player scenario for, you know, 3 balls. Choose your path. You do various victory medals for if you completed, for example, you know, Hoth or Death Star missions and how fast you do it or your score, you'll receive a medal. And that'll show up on your high score initials too. Path to Jedi multi-ball. That's going to be the wizard mode when you've completed Endor, Tatooine, Death Star, and Escape from Boba Fett. Or, pardon me, Hoth. And then, if you keep going, there's actually going to be a pretty cool display button where it'll show you everything all the buttons do. So, for example, it's showing the action button that's located in the center. So, you know, it launches the ball, it chooses characters, it starts the game. You can see the TIE Fighter assault that we were talking about, where you just want to rapidly do that. Toggle shot multiplier. That's another cool feature we need to talk about in this game. I'm still trying to figure out exactly how to use that. But what this game has the ability to do with the coding is you can pause countdown shots and save them. So if I'm trying to save Han and it's counting down from like 16 to 17 seconds, I can hit the action button and that'll stop that 16 seconds. I won't have that bonus going anymore. But say I save it to when I have multi-ball that's set up, I can then reactivate it knowing that I'm going to have a better chance of hitting that with 3 balls on the table, and I'll press both flipper buttons and it'll restart that bonus feature. So that's kind of cool. So, you know, there's the pinball game, and then there's all the other games inside it that I'm personally fumbling around with. So, you know, definitely a game you're not going to get bored of quickly because there's just so much to it.
It's kind of like the original 1983 Star Wars Vector game. There was no end to it. It literally went on forever.
You know, I'm amazed at how much is in this info. You know, again, you'll notice, I don't know, I guess kind of like Aerosmith, you'll notice there's icons maybe you weren't really aware of. But this one, it puts you in a cockpit mode for the display on the head of the machine a lot. And there's icons and you may not understand what they're saying because they're either going to be green or red. And this looks like a pretty cool key to kind of figure out what exactly they are. But, you know, right off the top of my head, I'd say it looks like there's 22 different icons. So, you know, there's some learning going to be going on with this game, which I'm sure Stern and all the vendors are going to be happy with people putting in the money to play. But, you know, also a game you're not going to get bored of. You got some more options, I guess, here for the skill shot when you hit them. Lightsaber duel. Still trying to get to that, but you'll notice there's Darth Vader and Obi-Wan Kenobi. And so you kind of get in a almost like a T2 shot where you want to alternate it. But what's cool is there's lights that aren't part of the GI here, so when you reach it, these will all light up red. So this, even though it's on the playfield, looks really great with this graphics package. And same with Obi-Wan's lightsaber, it lights up blue over here, and it just really makes that glow on the playfield. So when you get it, it's kind of a treat, visually even. Let's see what else we got in here. Jedi training, yeah. See TIE fighters destroyed, inner levels, all the bonus. So yeah, 20 different spots to put your initials, so looks like that's going to be everything in the instant info. I mean, that's a little bit more than most people expect. And, I'd probably have to go back and study that some more after this. So let's just kind of play the game a little bit, get some idea of the flow of it, and see what I can make happen. Got Death Star lit up, so I was trying to hit Death Star, but I'm still a Padawan. So
one thing I love about this is the X-wing cockpit view.
Yeah,
It's like you're inside the X-wing fighter.
Yeah, it's the graphics and the call out on this are just great. Everything I think from the ball save being Han Solo's carbonite at Bespin City to just everything. Call outs are good. C-3PO, Obi-Wan.
I love it's like the Andromeda Galaxy.
Yeah, you'll of course you'll get the witty banner from Han Solo and Leia in it. Admiral Akbar. Arthur Trump. Take all my quarters.
Yeah. All right, so that's it for a quick overview and a little gameplay tutorial. We appreciate you joining us. Keith, you wanted to talk a little bit about the league nights you have here at Tilt.
Yeah, that's right. I guess just so everybody knows, if you like playing pinball, you don't have to be a wizard, but there's people that share an interest for pinball. We meet up here every Tuesday at 6:30. We do leagues. It's free to enter.
Is there any place to get info on that, like a Facebook page or?
Yeah, there is. So we have a local community that's Play More Pinball. You should see that. There's a Facebook page for it, and then I believe playmorepinball.com, where it'll keep you aware of the pinball events going on in the Phoenix area. Also, we have a Tilt Studio Pinball League that you'll find where we kind of just keep talking amongst ourselves and post things. So you want to keep up to date on that. Otherwise, just asking the staff members here at Tilt, and we can keep you apprised of what's going on, whether it's weekend tournaments, our every Tuesday meetup. I think for August we have a selfie league planned. So if you're able to make these events time-wise, selfie league is a good way to compete and get good at games because you're able to capture your high scores, and you're just going to take a selfie of yourself and you're going to submit it on our platform, and then you kind of see what everybody else is doing at the same time. And at the end of the 4-week period, we'll have the top 8 people go, and we'll have a heads-up tournament going on, and play for there and play for some prizes.
Sure. The reason for the selfie is you can verify it's you and the score with the pin, and that makes it all good.
Yeah, we'll get that going. We're gonna have some Tilt Studio stickers on them, so that way we know people aren't some other place gaming it in their basement, so
Right.
so it's a level playing field for everybody. So
Right.
you know, again, if you can't make it in specific times, you can just come in.
And there's, including Star Wars, how many pins?
We have 19 other pins right now. We got old solid state ones from the 70s and 80s all the way up to pretty much most every single newer Stern game. So
I don't think you're going to find that big of a selection in a public area anywhere in town. I'm sure there's collectors that have many more pins, but where you can actually go and swipe a card, I'm not spending quarters, but a card, you can go and play.
yeah, you know, as a person with a pinball problem, I would say it's really nice that we're open 7 days a week here. We're open late and we have food and alcohol, so you know, not knocking
Beer and pinball.
Yeah, not knocking any of the other guys, but you know, there's some really good collections out there. But to be open 7 days a week, and have alcohol, you know, that's
Yeah, and everything's well maintained and cleaned and works for the most part.
yeah, for the most part, you know, it's pinball, so there's going to be issues, but we're really proud of our pinball. So if you have a problem, please do find a staff member. We'll address it right on the spot for you if we can, and if not, you know, I mean, worst case scenario, the game's down for a day and you come back tomorrow and it'll be up and running. Otherwise, you know, we have to order parts, but you know, we have the same problems that everybody else has. But you know, I think for 90% of the public, that's not going to be an issue.
All right, well, thank you, Keith. And thanks for joining us here at this old arcade, and we'll see you next time.